Hello! Alright, I've been having a lot of anxiety because of school, which is why I haven't really been posting any videos lately, but I thought, inspired by my anxiety revolving school, I will do a video about just that, and how to cope with the anxiety that being in American school system, and I'm sure other school systems, causes. Personally, that's probably the biggest culprit to my anxiety these days, especially as I am getting closer to graduating from a university, and having to move on to higher levels of education and getting a master's, becoming a therapist, all of that good stuff, and that really psychs me out. Here are just like a few kind of ways I've been able to cope with the anxiety of school that like really have helped me. Of course there's still like weeks where I get really overwhelmed, but I've noticed that a lot of it is me overwhelming myself as opposed to the work overwhelming me. Sometimes I don't really look at things as they are due, and I just think about, oh my god, there's so much I have to do. But I'm realizing that although I already did make to-do lists, taking things day by day is really helpful to cope with that anxiety, because every day you have a set plan of what you're going to accomplish, and also having a planner with due dates of everything. That way you can like visually see it, visually understand that only one thing is due that day, another thing is due that day, and it doesn't seem like a big ball of deadlines. So yeah, personally, taking things as they come, being in the now, has been really helpful for me to cope with school. I know it sounds dramatic, but a lot of people definitely suffer the same as I do with just the anxiety of school itself, not necessarily the coursework or anything. It's just like the idea of school is very overwhelming, or can be very overwhelming, and it definitely is for me. I think this also comes from an insecurity about your academic skills or whatnot, but C's get degrees, babies. Like, it's okay if you're not getting straight A's. It's okay. You also have to make sure that if you are feeling overstressed, you're not going to get your work done in a productive way. You need to maybe give yourself a night, take a step back, take a break, and just be like, you know what, tonight is not going to be a productive night school-wise. It's going to be a me night. I'm going to take a bath, I'm going to do a face mask, I'm going to lay in bed, I'm going to get high, I'm just going to let myself relax so that tomorrow I can start fresh with a good head on my shoulders, a less anxious head on my shoulders, and be able to combat what's to come the next day. This also is really helpful when you have these lists, so I try to like do things. I try to do things obviously before the night before they're due, just because pushing things off gives you anxiety. So that definitely is another thing. But with your little list, your to-do list, allow yourself a few days to do different things. So like, yeah, you might put it on for Monday night, but definitely have like an order of priority, and for the things that are due the next day or the day after that. But like, if you have a paper due in a week, like maybe plan Thursday to do the outline, then Friday to work on a little bit, and then Saturday to like execute it, and maybe then just Sunday edit it. You know, I think breaking down things is really beneficial to me, and I'm sure it could be to you. Even if you're jumping back and forth through different assignments, that might be helpful, because then you're not just sitting with one thing for hours feeling like it's the end of the world if you don't finish it. And if you come to a block, you're not just sitting there like, I don't know what to write, I don't know how to do this, blah, 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 blah. Just like, sometimes it's way better to just be like, all right, I did as much as I can for today. I'm going to leave it and come back to it tomorrow. Another thing which I shared about my anxiety on my Instagram, all over my Twitter always, but like through an Instagram post, I really talked about it. And someone said something or actually multiple people gave me this advice, which sometimes you know all of these things in your head, but you need someone else to tell them to you. And that's why I'm friends with a lot of people that I'm friends with, because we're very on the same level. They're just kind of like another version of me that can like tell me what I need to hear as opposed to just think, because words sometimes are more powerful than thoughts, especially in your jumbled up mind. But take it, just as I said, take it day by day, but also really take yourself day by day. Don't be like, okay, I need to finish school within 4 years. Because, first of all, that's really unrealistic for most schools these days. As I know a lot about that in like the UC system. I've transferred from a school. I went to a community college as well. Like, there's a lot of different things, different cores that I have to take from different schools and different classes that different schools require. So at this point, it's just best, not just for me, but for everyone, to say, I'm gonna get there eventually. Who cares if it takes 4 years or 6 years? Same with other programs or other like schools you go to. Like, don't, just because it's the norm or like average to graduate in 4 years, who cares? Work at your pace and do what's best for you. But overall, I think the most important thing is to be realistic with yourself. Be realistic with your course load. Go part-time student if it makes you feel less anxious. Don't take so many hard classes in one semester. Like, balance out your electives with hardcore classes and whatnot, and just really take things as they come, day by day. Write your lists, plan out your weeks, and stay in the now. For me personally, yeah, I have a lot more schooling to go to, but thinking about it just makes me super anxious. Like, oh my god, how am I gonna get there? Am I gonna be okay there? Am I like gonna make it? Am I gonna graduate? Blah blah blah. But I'm not there yet, and I don't have to worry about that yet, and I shouldn't worry about that yet, especially if it's causing me to worry. I need to just be like, what's this week's plan? What's this month's plan? I don't really go to a month. I normally just go to a week and go day by day, because that's the most productive for me. But do what's best for you. Figure out how you can get through school with the least anxiety. Don't expect you're never going to be anxious, because life is chaotic, and sometimes your workload is going to be way crazier than you expected for a week or so, and like it always flows to heavier weeks and less heavy weeks. So just give yourself the time to figure things out, and maybe don't plan to be as social if it's just going to make you anxious because you're not doing your work. But yeah, I believe in you, and I believe in me, and we can fucking do this.